We have the Wicked Avatar showing up in a Dark World deck. We have some Sky Striker interactions, Floowandereeze, and that fabled Ignister deck, and just a little bit more extra for you today from the top 16 of Stay Weird Gaming. I'll make the 30% of you that have not smashed the ever-living crap out of the subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. The Wicked Avatar cannot be normal summoner set, except by, tributing 3 monsters. If this card is normal summon, your opponent can activate spells or traps until the end of their second turn after this effect's activation. And this card's attack and defense are equal to the highest attack on the field, plus 100, except for the Wicked Avatar. You know what's hilarious about this? The duelists that played this deck told me that they were main decking this, and they could actually make this against their opponents. And it was essentially an auto win button, and they said it actually kind of came in clutch today as well. Yeah, Dark World actually playing a pseudo gimmicky boss monster that actually it worked out. And then of course Crooked cooked out. And man, this deck just so many weird things that you can do with Dark World. So you have one copy of Astral Krebo with your one Zephyros Elite. You have one Purrely, because this is still going to be, the best thing you can do. We have 2 Bigfoot with 1 Chupacabra, triple copies of Mothman, triple Nessie. We have 2 copies of Thunderbird, 1 Jackalope with your 1 Tsuchinoko, triple copies of Genta, and then of course just 2 Grapha. You got the triple copies of Skittles here, 2 copies of Silva. We got triple copies of Snow, a standard searcher, triple copies of Lure of Darkness with 1 card destruction. We have 2 copies of Ascension, 1 copy of the Archives, triple copies of your Gates of the Dark World, and then 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, standard draw filter here. Then we have 1 Underworld Goddess, your 1 Security Dragon, your 1 Saruja, your 1 News Reporter, your 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of IP, 1 Apple with your 1 Dugaris, your 1 Crooked Cook, 1 Baguski with your 1 Hope Harbinger, 1 Giant Trainer, and 2 copies of Grapha. Then, of course, we have 2 Lava Golem, triple Space Rock, triple Radium, 1 Wicked Avatar, 1 Feather Duster, triple Evenly Matched, and 2 copies of Skill Drain here. Wrapping up Dark World. Next up here, we have Sky Striker. So this was actually the fabled Sky Striker deck that made top 16. I actually found this to be kind of interesting here. Interesting. Tributing a Shizuku for this, actually to rip a card from your opponent's hand, is a little bit saucy. I actually kind of like that. You do have a lot of cool options you can do here. Obviously, thrusting into the Evenly, always going to feel like an absolute, champ when you do that. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, 2 copies of Effect Ability, 1 copy of the Sea Turtle. We have triple copies of Ray with 1 copy of Rose. I feel so bad when, this is about one of these about to get taken away by a Bysteel. We have 1 Change of Heart with 2 Lightning Storm, 2 copies of Desires with 1 Rhoda. We have 1 Area Zero, 2 Afterburners with 1 Hornet Drones, 1 Shark Cannon with triple Widowinky. We have the 2 copies of Multi-Roll, 1 Engage with 2 Engage. We also have triple Linkage with your 1 Terraforming, 2 Talents with 2 Thrust with 1 Evenly, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence. Standard stuff here. Then we have 1 Underworld Goddess. This is actually kind of an interesting tech choice to see here. We also have 1 Zeke, triple copies of Shizuku, 1 Kaina, triple Kagari, 2 Hayate, 1 Unicorn, 1 Dahark, your 1 Access Code, and your 1 Zeus. Before somebody's like, why do you play the Zeus? Well, this and this, like these cards win you games when you can take your opponent's stack, drop a Zeus on it, and your opponent's like, what am I supposed to do with this? This has been a relatively strong tech choice for a while now. We also have 2 copies of Ghost Bell here, triple Cosmic Cyclone with your 2 Forbidden Droplets, 1 Feather Duster with your 1 Herald, triple Dimensional Bear, your 1 Aoi, and 2 copies of There Can Only Be One here, wrapping up a particularly strong deck for the metagame. Obviously, this is going to remain one of your top contenders for sure. Next up here, we have Floowandereeze. For what this deck still brings to the table, I still think this is one of the freest auto-win buttons that you can have in modern era Yu-Gi-Oh! History. Just because you flip this, your opponent's turn is literally skipped. But, with how aggressive the format is, you actually have to be aware of this. One interesting note for this, I believe this duel said they ran into Droll and Lockbird 3 times during the course of the regional, and they said it just ruined their day. Like, you can't, obviously, like, you have crossout designator here, but, like, if you don't see the crossout and you get Drolled, you're like, well, What am I supposed to do about that? So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Got the triple copies of the Dimension Shifter, 2 copies of Droll and Lockbird with your triple Eagle. We have 2 copies of N-Pen with triple copies of Urbina. Got the 1 Stree with your 1 Toucan Sam, your 1 Apex Avion, and of course 1 Rise of the Mega Monarch. Then, of course, you got triple Cross-Out Designator, triple Advent of Adventure, triple Magnificent Map with 1 Unexplored Winds, triple Pot of Duality, and triple Pot of Prosperity, the best filtering cards that you can actually have for Modern Era. 1 Terraforming, 2 Dreaming Town, and triple Infinite Permanence. Starting the next deck, you got, well, 1 Update Jammer, 1 Shurag, 1 Frigid, 1 Transcode Talker with your 1 Singularity, 1 Heat Soul, 1 Ad Ignister Dark Templar, 2 Ad Ignister Little Infant, 1 Axis Code, 1 Liplosson, 1 Alimbertion, 1 Assembled Nightingale, 1 Downer, and 1 Zeus. I wonder the entire time that they were just looking at this extra deck, like, man, I miss Math Mech. We have 2 Book of Moon, 2 Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, triple Raigeki, triple Evenly Matched, and triple copies of the Auto-Win button itself here. Wrapping up, actually, it's nice to see some anti-meta Floowandereeze doing its thing. I remember, how long has it been since we lost Storm Winds, and this deck is still doing fantastic. Next up here we have our Ad Ignister. You know, I can't even say that this is a Math Mech deck anymore. This is just Cyberse good stuff, but yeah, it is Ad Ignister here. The coolest thing about this deck right now is, you know, a lot of people are a little bit more hands-off with the Kaijus right now, and it is a shame that they did finish 9th place. This would have been an amazing deck to see in the top cut, you know, in terms of diversity, but, you know, you didn't get the chance to see that. And unfortunately, somebody has to end up in 9th place for the regional. It can't be all the glory to the winners. So, we have triple copies of a Chi-Chi-Chi-Chi, triple copies of Ash Blossom, 1 copy of Little Bururu. We have the 1 Damari with your 2 copies of Doyon. You get the triple Effect Veiler with your 1 Gachikiri, triple copies of Ghostbell. Very nice to see that this card is coming in clutch to this format. We have 1 copy of Hayari, 1 copy of Jizakuru, 1 copy of Math Mech Circular with your 1 Sigma. We have 1 Subtraction with triple copies of Pikari, 2 copies of I Meet You, 1 Idol Reborn, triple copies of Forbidden Droplet, 2 copies of the Field Spell. I always love the fact somebody's like, you have to play 3 of these. No, 2 is fine. We have 1 Equation, triple Small World, and triple copies of Infinite Permanence. Then we have the 1 Update Jammer, 1 Transcode with your 1 Arrival. We have the 1 Splash Mage, 1 G-Golem Crystal Heart, 1 Heat Soul with 1 copy Dark Templar, your 2 Dark Infants, your 1 Wiz Kid. We have 2 Access Codes. The amount of times that I see this deck do this card is insane. We have 1 Alimbertion, your 1 Light Dragon, and 1 copy Wind Pegasus. Then we have 1 Archfiend, triple copies of Droll, 1 Called by the Grave, triple Cosmic Cyclone, 1 Feather Duster, triple Evenly Matched, and of course, we got some Floodgates back here. Triple copies of Rivalry of the Warlords here. Wrapping up, well, the strong power of Cyberse. I guess this is technically Cyberse good stuff now. Next up here, we have Purrely. So this is the opposite of what we saw on the other Purrely list here, where this goes back to more of like the roots of things here, where, you know, you see the Shadal package being the raw facilitator of value for this deck. And then, you know, you see Cashier Fenrir here, obviously this card being like the generic monster that it is. And then you have Triple Leap here to make sure that, you know, you can step into your boss monster and do as you need to for this. So we have triple copies of Purrely, triple copies of Purrely Lily, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring with triple Fenrir. We also have 1 Beast, 1 Hedgehog, and 1 Squamata. You have the 1 Delicious Memory, triple copies of My Friend Purrely, triple copies of course, Purrely Happy Memory, triple copies of Pretty Memory, and triple copies of Sleepy Memory. Then, of course, you got triple Book of Moon for defensive options. Don't underestimate this card. It's really good. Triple Pot of Prosperity for filtering, triple Purrely Leap, and then triple Impermeer. Down the extract, we have 1 Lingeribo. Somebody's still prepared for Nightmare Corruptor, I believe. We have 1 Donner, 1 Agent of the Moon, 1 Princess Sprite, 2 Zeus, 1 Downard, 1 Assembled Nightingale, 2 Happiness, 2 Nor, 1 copy of Plump, and 2 Beauty. Then, of course, we have triple Dimension Shifter, 2 copies of Dark Rule No More, triple copies of Thrust, 1 Talents, 1 Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, and triple copies of Summon Limit here. Wrapping up everything that I have for you today out of the Stay Weird Gaming Regional. And of course, if you guys have any info out of any events, please feel free to send it over to me. And of course, I will see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.